And a very good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Issues and Attitudes. My name is Jeff Owens, Director at WEIU. Today we're talking all things Charleston School District. We have Kristen Holly here. Welcome, Kristen.
Thank you, Jeff.
We have Chad Burgett over to my left over here.
Thanks
Chad.
for having us.
And in the middle, the man, Mr. Todd Vilardo, Superintendent of Schools.
Yeah, we're back, Jeff, here on HitMix 88.9 WEIU. We're taking your calls live, 581-6116. We'll take your questions. Just kidding. Don't call, folks.
You can tell it's his last, well, I wouldn't say his last appearance. Last appearance as a superintendent, right? Because you're going to officially retire July 1st. Effective.
Yeah, July 1st is the retirement date, so I'll be out of the office before then, so that Mr. Burgett can get his belongings in there and get started. He's already starting on a good note, and he's got some good ideas, and he'll do fine, but we'll get him in there July 1.
And then you can sail off into the sunset, as they say.
That's right.
Just for a couple weeks, then I'll be back.
Well, why don't we assess like the 23-24 school year? I know that you still have some school left, but you did have graduation last weekend. We kind of assess how you feel about the last school year here, 23-24.
Yeah, we started the school year recognizing Charleston CUSD number 1 75th year as a school district of being number 1. Chad had discovered that, and so we kind of made that an opening of the school year theme. We had a local community member who was a teacher in our district many years ago join us for our opening day all staff in service this last fall, and she did an outstanding job of addressing our staff, very inspirational. Wanda Rule is her name. She's 101 years old now, and that was pretty inspirational for our staff. And so we've kind of carried that spirit going forward in the school year of making this, yet again, the best school yet.
There you go. Anything you guys want to add, Chad or Kristen?
It's been a great school year. Honestly, we've reflected on that here recently, and we've had a lot of really exciting changes Chad can talk about facilities, but just in terms of curriculum, we've made a lot of great progress with our competency-based initiative. Of course, Leader in Me is still going strong, and we're really proud of our CHS Industries program. They were recognized recently at the Charleston Chamber of Commerce. They were Business of the Year. We were so proud of our students, and that's been 100% a student initiative, and they are the reason it's been so successful. And in fact, it's even bigger than we ever imagined it would be when we first started talking about it. It kind of got bigger.
Some of those good, bad things.
Yeah, right. It got bigger than we expected. So I think our students are a lot more engaged in some of our new facilities, and they really take a lot of pride and feeling a sense of ownership, particularly at the high school. But in general, I feel like it's been a really great school year.
CH Industries was mentioned in one of the graduate speeches Friday night, and that was nice to hear. Along with that, we've had a lot of renovation going on at the high school in the 400 wing. That in the library, we installed they have a coffee shop, Trojan Brew. Yeah. So if you're available, stop by one morning, you get a cup of coffee. That's been taken a lot longer than we thought it would, and the staff and the students have been very patient, but they're starting to get in that area now, and next year we'll be able to open up that area and get it going from day one.
I want to go back to CHS Industries for a little bit because I wrote that down as an award. Were you guys told that you were going to get the award, or how's that work? So then, you had to be. When you think about beating all the other businesses in Charleston for a student-ran organization, that's got to be one of the big highlights of the last few years. I would
Absolutely. They did tell us a little bit ahead of time so we could prepare to bring some students with us. Unfortunately, it was also high school prom, so we had many students that were unable to attend. We would have had a lot more if it hadn't been prom night, but we did have enough time to get a few students together, and because we really wanted it to be about them. We wanted them to receive the award, not the adults.
For someone who doesn't have a clue out there, can you explain a little bit of what CHS Industries is, just for maybe some people who don't know?
Sure. Yeah, it's student-run businesses. They're all student-run enterprises. There are different elements to CHS Industries. In the new facility, there's a greenhouse. So, of course, there's a student-run business for plant sales. On the inside of the A&M Center, they've made sheds and picnic tables and bags boards that they've also sold. In the inside the building, there's the Charleston Trojan Design Center, where they design T-shirts, mugs. They take orders from the public. So that's kind of, they they have on their website a link, and the students design and print. They also print posters. As Chad mentioned, the Trojan Brew. Those students start every morning in the coffee shop, open it up, and there's usually a line. And we also have a detailing center. So we have our students in our functional life skills program that detail cars every Thursday morning. And again, they take cars from the public.
So do you try to get it where it's like freshmen through seniors involved, so that
Yep.
way, then once the seniors
That's right.
graduate, they have good people to take
Yeah.
over?
Yep.
Is that how it works?
A
Yep.
number of interns out there
Yep.
as well that help run the different businesses, and they've been a big asset.
And traditionally in high schools, staff think in terms of departments,
Yeah.
silo thinking. I teach English, I teach industrial arts, I'm teaching accounting, I'm teaching computers. Part of the vision behind CHS Industries is to get away from the silo thinking and have this interdepartment reliability on each other. So we have students in the accounting, they're running the books for the projects. We've got design center where those students are designing the products. We have computer classes that are marketing the product, the same
Yeah.
product. So it's more of a thematic approach.
That's kind of cool. Graduation was last weekend. Tell how many people graduated, and was that an average number, a good number, or what?
I counted 158 walking across the stage, and a little bit down from what we've had in past years. But the ceremony itself was an hour long. It was a really, really good ceremony, and of course, we're always grateful to EIU for allowing us to host that there at now Groninger
I approve that,
Arena.
yes,
Yeah, thanks, Jim.
Appreciate that one.
Kidding. So, does that mean enrollment's down a little bit, or does it just happen to be a down year for that senior class?
Our district enrollment has declined over the last several years, but steady. It's more steady now than it has been. Probably similar trajectory that EIU has had. It declined a little bit,
Yeah.
but now it's a little bit. It's
Kinda.
grown some and steadying.
That's
Yeah.
good. Other building updates, summer plans, Chad, and things that are
Summer
going to be happening?
plans, we're finishing up the 400 wing and really just trying to tidy up a lot of little projects. The track was done, but we need to sign off on some punch list items on those. And then going to the board this month, we're having some amendments to our health, life, safety plan. And for the public, every 10 years, our facilities are reviewed. We're hoping to put out to bid, finish a lot of those projects, but then we'd like to add Mark Twain Gymnasium roof to that list, as well as at the sports complex, the roofs at the concession stand, and then the other area there. So those weren't on the original list, so we'd like to get those added and get those things taken care of this fall.
Cool. What about retiring teachers? Is it an alarming number, average number, regular? I know it's this time of year schools are go into that mode where,
Yeah.
retire and hire. Right?
Yeah, that phrase teacher shortage is probably a bit worn now. We experienced it here in Charleston, like many school districts across the nation have. People say it's the great resignation. I don't see it that way as much. What we've experienced is that staff members are transferring. They're getting jobs, and they're trying to shop around, getting jobs where they might get better benefits or better pay. So what we're trying to do is keep up with the market, and we have seen some. We had how many retirees this year? We had 3, 4.
3.
Yeah, so not as many
Yeah.
as we have had in the past.
And you have a lot of intertransferal even within the districts, right? Where people want to
Yeah, we
teach a
do.
different grade or a different
That's right,
subject
yeah.
or whatever.
That happened too.
Yep.
Yes.
Because I actually read the minutes for your agenda
there we
for
go.
Wednesday nights. Always prepared. There you go. And Chad, when you, it's kind of funny because you guys, we've been doing this for so many years. When you quote unquote take over for Mr. Vilardo here, I mean, how different will it be to be, the superintendent? And I know you don't want to probably talk about your game plan because you're probably trying to figure it out. And he's sitting right here, but I mean, everybody does something a little different. So, are you kind of at least cultivating ideas?
Yeah,
and things
tell
like
us,
that?
Chad. What are you going to do differently? What are you not going to do?
Well, I've got big shoes to fill. Todd has been an excellent leader for our school district. He's extremely civic-minded and just generous with his time and talent. I think one of the things we're looking at is we've started so many things the last couple of years coming out of COVID, and we say CBE, we say Charleston Industries, but I feel like we need to hit pause before we add anything else to the plate. There's so many mandates that teachers are facing. We read one the other day. Now, water safety is now a requirement. You know, when are they going to fit in all the things that they have to fit in? So next year will be our first year fully implementing CBE. That's going to be a big lift for Charleston School District, for the staff, the parents, and students. Trojan Industries, you know, I've got it on the calendar in September, maybe to bring in an accounting firm to talk to them about accounting practices. As Mrs. Holly said, it just blew up. Like, I don't think we were quite ready for this much activity and money coming in and money coming out. So we've got to get better at handling some of the things, and it's just taking a life of its own, that type of thing. So just kind of hitting pause and getting deeper into some of the things that we're looking at. That's going to be first priority. And then as opportunities come up, you know, we'll evaluate them and see if it's the best fit for our students and staff and school community.
And what about you, Kristen, as a change for next year? You much change in your job, or do you kind of stay the same?
No, I'm going to stay doing the things that I love to do. And we've talked about this. We've got with competency-based coming strong. I'm looking forward to just staying and, as Chad said, supporting that initiative and helping to see it through. So there will be some changes to elementary report cards. There will be a lot of support needed as teachers make this transition. So for the next few years, I'm going to stay and make sure that we get that going well for our community.
You know, another thing to that, you know, too often in education and probably in other industries, things come and go.
Yeah.
And, you know, people wonder, is CBE going to be here to stay? Leader in Me is another one. That's
what I'm
we
talking
started
about next,
like
yeah.
two or three years ago. And, you know, is that going to be here, or is that going to come and go? So just making a commitment to those follow through, so people know that it's just not a
It's just not a fad.
Not a fad.
That, you know, I think that's been a complaint of many teachers across the nation, really, is that, you know, fads come and go and the pendulum swings, and we're trying to kind of maintain a steady course here in Charleston and stick with what we said we were going to do and just keep getting better at it.
There you go. And the Leader in Me, can you go a little into some details what that is for the students?
Yeah, Leader in Me is, and it's hard to describe because it's not really a program. It's not something you purchase and teach. It does have that aspect to it. We teach students in grades K through 8 the 7 habits. Stephen Covey, you may be familiar with the 7 habits of highly effective people. There's a program for students where we direct instruction in the 7 habits and teach leadership skills. But the the Leader in Me program is really more about building a culture in schools, and a culture where students have embedded leadership opportunities, where students and staff share together opportunities to grow. We teach students how to set goals and how to identify their own strengths and weaknesses and find areas to improve. It's a system, really, as much as it is a program.
Do all students utilize it? And
Yes,
do
all
it?
students have, all students are explicitly taught the 7 habits as part of their social emotional learning. And then as they get up into the older grades, that sort of transfers over a bit into career exploration, career development, setting goals for the future, which then ties into, we're developing career pathways at the high school. So students will have more specific courses they can take and internship opportunities that will help them prepare for after graduation.
Very cool.
Yeah.
When you think about finalizing up the year in 23-24 before you go into 24-25, what kind of things are happening right now on your 3 desks as you kind of wrap up this school year and look forward to the next year?
On my desk right now, this time of year, it's wrapping up grants and getting ready to write new grants. And, you know, we've had, with all of our competency-based initiative, we've been really busy working on updating curriculum documents. So we're getting all of those things put on websites. And, you know, so it's really this time of year, probably for all of us, is a lot of closing up last year and getting ready to start next year.
I'm transitioning away from my office and into a new role. I'll be serving part-time as a human resources director for 1 year in the district. I'm grateful. It's probably the greatest compliment I could have received from these 2 folks, Chad and Kristen, in wanting me back for a year. And so I'm transitioning there, and I'm also focused on just continuing with the last couple board meetings, and then focused on doing everything I can to help ensure that Chad gets started on a successful footing come July 1.
This year, as Kristen mentioned, we're amending this year's budget, and we're already starting looking at next year's budget to get that before the board, and hopefully in July or August for approval in September. Finishing up some contracts. We're tonight's agenda, or this week's agenda, a school security officer, renewing those contracts. So just kind of finishing up this year and preparing for next year.
Is it you have to get a new softball coach because Mr. Mayhall got promoted or something like that? So always have something to be looking for, right? These kind of things. You talked a little bit about finances as you kind of look at this 23-24 finances. Everything look good as you head into next year?
Yeah, it's coming in about as we expected. This year we had a lot of what I would call one-time expenditures. Our fund balances was very healthy. So when I presented this year's budget to the board, I knew we were going to be in the deficit spending. I don't know if we may come in a little bit less than what I expected on the deficit spending, but a lot of one-time expenditures of furniture for the 400 wing, all new students' desks and things. That's something we're going to do this year, but probably won't be doing for a number of years after that.
The 18th Street thing, entrance and exit there, got a lot of heat. Is that something that the state does and then they tell you, or how's the planning?
The last time we got a call the day before, and we tried to get that message out to the parents and school community just to let them know that it's going to be difficult when you're coming in or leaving for a few days. I haven't received any calls. I think that's turning out to be okay.
Yeah, it was just kind of the whole time. I mean, it wasn't just the school. It was
right.
Yeah.
Nobody even went that way. It was just like
they don't usually call us. They call the radio station.
It took a little extra time.
They did that
getting
too.
in.
Apollo Conference. Any foreseen changes or upcoming, or is it kind of solidified itself now with where
I'm
we're at?
hearing no chatter on Apollo Conference right now.
All right.
Which could mean it's steady and solid, or it could mean there's just rumblings that we haven't heard of. So.
There you go. Besides the CH Industries Award, was there other awards in the district here that maybe you want to talk about and highlight some things that
Yes,
happened?
we had somebody in our district that earned Citizen of the Year as well. Dr. Vilardo.
I was hoping you were going to go there. That was a good setup there.
Yeah, that was a really very exciting for him. And I had found out about it. They called me to let me know so I could help them craft some language and get a list of all the organizations. And I didn't know if he knew or not. So it was kind of a secret in our office for a while. But we were proud to have him be a Citizen of the Year.
What's that mean to you, Todd? I mean,
Well, it was a truly humbling experience. Really grateful. The Chamber of Commerce does so much for our business community, and I've always believed, and I've been involved in the Chamber for years because I believe that there should be a symbiotic relationship between the Chamber and the local businesses and the school community. If you have strong businesses, typically you have strong schools and vice versa. In this community in particular, in the county, we have the 1% sales tax. So if we have strong businesses locally, that just helps our schools with facilities dollars so that we can continue to renovate and build.
when you look ahead, and it's mostly for Chad and Kristen, as you look ahead, what do you think, as you look ahead on the hill, like what are some upcoming challenges in the educational industry that you see coming down the pike?
Well, one of the things Todd mentioned, the 1% facilities tax. Our board had took a debt certificate of $12 million to address a lot of needs, the parking lots and roofs and the renovation, things like that. We've spent that $12 million. So as we look forward facilities wise, we're really going to have to lean in just on the 1% sales tax. And that, the fund balance, I told the board, it's getting quite, it's lower than what it's been. Right now, I think we have $3 million in that fund balance, but $1 million of that has to go back to pay the debt certificate. So as we look forward, I'm gonna have to sharpen the pencil and figure out, okay, what can we do short-term and long-term facilities? And I think we're gonna have to, excuse me, just have our facilities committee get together in the fall once we see what the true fund balance is gonna be, and then how are we gonna tackle the 18th Street property, and then what other projects can we tackle in the short term?
And one of the things that you are going to do is to move the corporate or the headquarters into the new business on 18th Street. Talk about when, where, and how in the process.
Well, we're starting that. That's one of the duties I assigned Dr. Vilardo, so he's going to oversee that project. I will let you know that we got some preliminary plans for that this past week that we're going to look over. We're looking at maybe putting that out to bid. What we wanted to do is put it out to bed early enough so next spring break we could move in. That's a good downtime for, parents not calling or needing assistance, things like that. Teachers would be out of the building. But we're looking at probably moving in next summer.
Okay. Any other details on that, or just kind of?
I think it'll be a benefit to our school district in terms of the location. It's
You're right
closer
there,
to
right?
that main, that we
It's the
call it
old
main
twice as
campus.
nice building as what?
Yeah, the old Will Walker's
Yeah.
site. It's closer to our main campus. The facility is going to be able to accommodate more professional development opportunities. It'll be more convenient for our staff. So
We're looking to, just real quick on that.
better parking. and so
I
forth.
think for the community in general, that on 18th Street, having a remodel building there will look nice. I think the city would appreciate that. And part of the plans, we're talking about Trojan Industries. We're looking at putting a little kitchen in there. So if we want to cater with them for our PD or board events and things like that, those students would have access
And they're
to
right
it.
there too. Right
Yeah,
across the
yeah,
counter.
Right,
so
yeah.
that'd be good.
Other things from 23 through 24? Other awards or things you want to talk about, Kristen? Anything else out there that students, faculty awards or anything?
I don't know. unless I'm forgetting something, and,
I just-
and
I
you
know,
maybe
I'm
you
just-
know something
No,
I'm
just didn't know
forgetting.
it. I was like, at the end of the year, it's fun because everybody likes to. You look back and you just want to highlight. I don't want to forget
Yeah.
any of the good stuff as you talk about when you really think about everything. And it looks like summer projects are a little bit not as big this year as have been in the past,
Yeah.
which is kind of a good thing, right? So you're not getting calls every day.
We've done a lot of work the last few years, and we've taken on. Sometimes I think we've got too many projects going on, but
Well,
now
the
that we're trying
auditorium and all, yeah.
now that we're trying to just tie up our loose ends, it'll be nice to have that done and look forward.
Yeah. Now, one of your alumni is in there running the back end of the
I
story,
got to
Mitch.
say hello,
He thinks
yeah.
there should be more music and more theater added, even though you just did that. But I had to give Mitch his due, or I'll get in trouble.
That's a really strong program at our high school.
Yeah,
they
it is.
they traditionally do very, very
Yeah.
great things.
And we started when the three of us came together as a team 7 years ago. I was reflecting back, and we were having to borrow money from other governing bodies in order to make payroll. We had leaking roofs, trash cans in many of our schools. We've really come a long way in 7 years with all the initiatives that we have going on now. And so I guess we have a few minutes left if I could
Oh, yeah, you're
say,
fine, Todd.
I say this probably, maybe not enough, but sometimes people say, you're very generous with the compliments. Our community this is a great community to live in, to raise a family in. We've got the EIU influence. We just have good people in the community. The parents, support, the staff, our excellent staff through the years. That's been my experience here since '91. And our central office staff, they're very reliable, dedicated. They really make it happen, but it really starts at the top as well with our administrative team and these two right here. Chad and Kristen are just, they're just incredible leaders, and I've relied on them for everything through the years. Kristen's outstanding with the curriculum initiatives, assessment, curriculum design, working with staff, professional development, new teachers. Chad's incredible with the facilities and budgeting, and they're both very reliable and independent, and I just can't say enough about these two and how they've supported me through the years. And I guess in closing, the district and the school community is in great hands going forward.
Now, what would you say about?
I was
Todd?
about to say this was supposed to be about him, his retirement, and somehow he makes it about
Well, we
us.
still have time to
This
talk
is
about him a little
very
bit.
typical of Todd. We are incredibly grateful for his leadership. I can speak. I'm sure Chad would say the same thing, but I don't think either of us would be where we are without his guidance and leadership every day. And we're very grateful for that. He really is an amazing leader for our community and our school district.
Chad?
Too kind.
He's he's great about giving others credit, and I don't think he stops to toot his own horn. But as Kristen said, what a leader. His background in leadership has been a great asset. Always willing to help out the administrators and staff members. Like I said, I've got big shoes to fill, and I don't know anyone who's as civic-minded as Todd Vilardo. So I'll have to strive to do
Thank
better.
you both. Thank you both for that. I guess I'll add that isn't it amazing what can be accomplished when it doesn't matter who gets the credit? Years ago, when you called and asked to do this type of interview, and for the last 7 years, I said, no, we're going to have Chad
Bring the
and
three
Kristen.
amigos,
We're
yeah.
going to bring the three amigos because we're a team.
Yep.
And so that is what I wanted to establish in our district, is a team mentality, and it starts at the top. So,
Do you think about your legacy? You've been doing this since '91 in this community. About how you'll be remembered as a leader of the Charleston School District.
I don't know. I don't think about it a lot. Just going along every day to give my best. I guess that's what I wanted to model for people in the school community. That's what was given to me as a youngster coming here to Charleston many years ago. The people at Charleston treated me very well and made me feel like this was home from my early days at EIU onward. And so that's what I wanted to give back to Charleston and the school community and to EIU, just that feeling of I'm going to give it my best to help other people, make them feel like they belong here and this is a good place to live, work, and play and raise a family. And just hopefully that culture just continues for
Is there one thing that stands out that you're like most proud of? Now, I'm not saying you're taking the credit for it, but your team takes credit for it. Is there one thing out there that you just really happy about?
I think it's just the ability for us together to sustain that collaborative spirit, that working together. There's always going to be problems in any job you have in a school district. There's all sorts of problems that arise from time to time, and just getting our heads together and thinking through various aspects of the problem, who owns the problem, figuring out, putting yourselves in other people's shoes first, kind of seeking first to understand, to go back to Stephen Covey and the 7 Habits, and just putting yourself in other shoes and trying to think through how whatever decision you make is going to impact people, programs, systems. And then I think that's probably what I'm proud of, is just hopefully keeping that moving.
Moving it forward. Is there something you'll miss most about Todd? I know he's still around, but as a
Right,
leader,
so many things. I think, we talked about the generosity and the humility that he shares with us. I mean, he empowers us to make decisions and helps guide us. It's not micromanaged. I mean, he lets us lead in the way that we are comfortable leading. And he constantly praises us for our efforts and, reinforces the work that we're doing. I know Chad will be the same. I mean, I have confidence that, Chad and I have worked together for a really long time, as when we worked in Carl Sandburg together, and he's a similar style leader, and I think we're going to be
Could be okay.
We're going to be okay. We're going to miss Todd's guidance, and we're probably still going to call him a lot, particularly
Well, unfortunately,
for advice.
we're out of time, but thank you, Todd. I do appreciate you being our good friend here at WEIU, and Chad and Kristen. I will see you down the road, all right?
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thank you.
We are WEIU.